Well, welcome to Los Olivos Wine Merchant Cafe, where you not only get to taste great California Central Coast wines, but you also get to meet the winemakers. And today we have Kat Gaffney here at our wine merchant, and thank you for coming down.
Thanks for having me. This is really exciting.
Thank you. And we always ask the same questions, to at least one question to all the winemakers, and that is, if you could sum up your winemaking style into one word, what would that word be?
Such a great question. So scary though. For the Spear project specifically, and I think why it fits with my personality so well, is the idea behind these wines is that we remove all intention from the winemaking. So what we want to do is highlight the vineyard as much as possible. So every choice in the cellar is about just bringing up what's already there. So for me, the one word that I could think of would be humility, because what I'm trying to do is erase all of my preconceived ideas about what the wine should be, what should come out of the vineyard, and just go in there with just a blank slate and say, okay, this is what the vineyard wants to do this year, so that's what I have to kind of focus on in the cellar. So these wines are intended to be very clean, very pure, very vineyard specific. So you shouldn't taste these wines and say, Kat, your signature is all over this, wine. No, it should absolutely be, this is Spear Vineyard. End of story.
Right. So tell me a little bit about your journey and how your journey brought you to where you are today.
Yeah, so I got into this whole game because I was studying to be a somm. I was working in a 5-star French restaurant in Colorado, where I'm from, studying to be a somm, taking the tests, doing all the blind tastings and the flashcards. I didn't get very far. But
where in Colorado were you?
I was in Colorado Springs. I was working at a resort called the Broadmoor Hotel. It's a historic hotel built in 1912, absolutely beautiful.
Right.
But the great thing about that property is they really encourage everyone from, the bussers to the servers, to really take in as much knowledge as they can. So they encouraged everyone to go after the somm certification, regardless if you were like a back waiter or a captain.
Right.
So that's how I started. And as I was studying with my tasting group and doing the blind tastings, somebody said, hey, you should work a harvest in California. It's a 6-week internship. You'll get a really great idea of how grapes are made into wine. So that'll be really good education for your somm certification. I said, that sounds great. So I emailed a bunch of winemakers on the Central Coast because I had family living here at the time, and nobody bit. I have zero experience, and I'm just like cold emailing these winemakers, like, hey, I kind of want to see what this is about. Finally, one of them took a chance on me. It was so kind of him. He called me and said, hey, I'm shorthanded. Can you be out here, next week? And I was able to take a 6-week leave of absence from my job and come out here for the 2011 harvest. And as you know, the 2011 harvest was very cold, very wet. There was a lot of rain, there was a lot of mildew, yields were down, quality was down. It was just kind of a messy year. But then I just fell in love with it, and it was absolutely amazing. And I love the physical aspect. I love being in the vineyard. And so I thought, being a somm is pretty cool, but I think my destiny is in the cellar. So that's kind of where I started.
That's how you discovered your passion, is just doing this thing for 6 weeks and discovered that you really loved being, in the vineyard and in the winery and making the wine and bringing in the grapes and crushing and all that stuff, and that really got you into it. You found your passion.
That was it. And so then from there, it was just a matter of finding the next job, finding the next harvest, asking questions. So lucky to have the mentors that I have who took the time to really encourage me, but also answer my questions, invest their knowledge and time and just genuine interest in where I wanted to go. So I've been traveling a little bit, and before ending up here in Santa Barbara County for the 2016 harvest, and then coming to Spear in the summer of 2017. So I was really lucky.
Fantastic. So great. So if somebody wants to come in and taste spirit wines, obviously they can come to Los Olivos Wine Merchant Cafe and taste these wines here. But if they want to come out and see the vineyards and see the winery, can they do that?
Oh, absolutely. So we are open by appointment only for tastings. So we have a website. You can call us and make an appointment. There's usually somebody there 7 days a week. Most likely it's me. I'm usually the one who's there.
Well, that's great. You'll answer all the questions from the geeks that want to know, how much fermentation time you take and all that.
Absolutely. I'm so ready to geek out, or not, whatever you want. But the cool thing about having the tasting room in the middle of the vineyard and also in the same building as the production space is like, if somebody says, well, how do you get the grapes off the stems? I said, pick up your glass, let's go take a look, I'll show you the machine and we can talk about what it does. And so I'm a very visual person, so if I can show somebody something, it's a lot easier than me having to diagram it in the air for whoever.
Well, fantastic. Well, Kat Gaffney, thanks for coming by and talking about the Spear Winery and the wines that you make. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.